are that entrepreneur working for company X, and you're given, this budget, this staff, and you have this brilliant idea, right? Wow, they haven't done it this way. This is something new. This is something innovative, right? How do you operate in the confines of being an entrepreneur inside of a company when you, at the core, you're truly an entrepreneur, right? Like there's certain do's and don'ts, and there's kind of a slippery slope. So I don't know whether you guys had any experience with that, but kind of talk about maybe it was a situation where it was like, you know what, this is a great idea. If I tell my boss about it, it's the company's. If I take it externally, it's mine, right? And I think a lot of these guys may have that struggle. So if you don't mind, kind of talk about that at a very high level, if that's ever happened to you.
Well, when I first started, one of my biggest fears, and it was a fear, is that people would steal my products. They would steal my workbooks and my ideas and all that kind of stuff. But I've come to know, or on a very, very deep spiritual level, that there's more than enough. And that what is yours, and that so what if someone takes something of yours? I can produce more. And I'm sure for you, you probably think, oh, no, because, you make your money doing what you do. But there are some things that you do that if you don't put it out there, no one will know you have it. And will people sometimes steal your stuff? Certainly. People have stolen. I've gone places and seen my work left behind, where it's like, how did that get here? But there's more than enough on a spiritual level. There's an abundance, and that if you can create that, you can create something else. And so I had to learn to let go of that fear of people taking from me, and I had to learn to give it willingly. And did I always get compensated for everything? Not always, but it came to me. What was mine, and it came, and I had to trust that it would. And so that's my message. It may be totally different for some people because, they make their bread and butter primarily on intellectual property. But our workbooks, that's our intellectual property. But I had to release it to get more.
It's a great point.
All right, so I'll give this a little spiritual context, and I'll give it a practical context. And that divine creator created the universe, and the universe is this ever-expanding, innovation. And then that universe also operates under, universal laws of reciprocity. And if you are a consummate giver in any context, whether that's personally inside of your family, inside of your organization, that there's no shortage of innovation. There's no shortage of ideas. And of course, innovation has a life cycle. The very fact that we carry, when millions of people have iPhones, we look at that, oh, that's so innovative. Actually, that's not innovative. The moment the masses embrace something, it's not innovation anymore. It's innovation when it's sitting in the lab and it's breaking and it's not working and people are telling you should just discontinue it, you should stop. That's when it's innovation. And I think if we embrace that, we have to become masters of innovating. So if you have the opportunity to innovate inside of an organization and release those ideas, all you do is open up this universal flow of more ideas to come through you. And so that's my macro spiritual principle. From a practical perspective, I manage IP. Everything we do is about IP. But I think so many innovative ideas, come to our organization because we have that mindset, and it's hard to foster that. So I've had it from the position where I've had to actually release an entrepreneur or an innovator to actually leave our organization a few times and go out and create and do things. And I actually encourage it. I mean, imagine if your boss could do that. The challenge is you can't do it with your boss because your boss is just another position holder. And so you're negotiating with the wrong person. If you truly have an idea that you want to protect, before you disclose the idea, you protect it. And then you negotiate with the right people inside of your organization. Who are your shareholders? Who's on the board of directors? Who's the chief executive officer? You're like, oh my, we got 5,000 employees. So what? They're just a person. They're just a person that you might meet anywhere at an event or what have you. And your ability to pitch them, after you have protected yourself. And then, even if you don't protect yourself, and I don't know what type of non-competes and all this stuff, most when people pay you, they want the IP. That's why they're paying you. You got to know your role. If your role is that of an of an employee, and you create something, just be prepared to release it, because your role is to create and innovate on behalf of, who you're working for. And the decision is, do you want the comfortability of a check with stagnated innovation, or do you want to be as innovative as you want to be, living from month to month? I often say that, we're talking about everybody's looking for job security, and but nobody wants maximum security. So I think security is overrated, and I think we have to, keep it in, keep it in context. So just release it. I meet with people now. I can't tell you my idea unless I sign. You sign. I don't sign non-disclosures. I just don't. Investors don't sign NDAs. It's just, so this whole, we get a document and we run around, I'll meet with you at the Starbucks over lunch, but you've got to sign my non-disclosure. Great you got that off of LegalZoom, but I mean, how enforceable is a non-disclosure or a non-compete in right-to-work states? So I think sometimes we embrace half-truths and they don't apply to our situation. I agree. Release it, because once you release things, they come back to you.
I can certainly agree with that. About 10, 11 years ago, I developed a process when I was at a brokerage firm, a process that saved the company, tons of man hours and a lot of money. And, of course, I wasn't getting paid for it. I was like, okay, I saved y'all money, but you can't pay me. Disconnect. So, but what I did was I decided, okay, I'm going to fight fire with fire. I decided to, looked around the organization, saw it was working, and saw how I could use that in my business. Because obviously the company's there, something is obviously working. So I decided I would call, my own brand of corporate theft. I was just sitting around and, okay, this works, this works, this works. Had my notes. And when it came to my real estate company, okay, I knew how to market. I knew how to bring in folks to help me out. I knew how to serve. I knew a little bit about IT. I knew a little bit about everything to help my company. So that's what I did in terms of, okay, I'm going to use you to help me to get where I'm going to be. And it's worked out